It begins with silence. A kind of silence that feels wrong, heavy, unnatural. The air is cold. The night is still. And the only thing breaking the darkness is a set of flickering red and blue lights dancing across the cracked pavement of an industrial road in Strongsville, Ohio. It's 5:45 a.m. A mangled Toyota Camry lies crumpled like paper against the corner of a brick warehouse. Steam hisses from the engine. Glass glitters across the asphalt like tiny diamonds. The front end of the car is gone, swallowed by the building it slammed into at nearly 100 miles per hour. First responders stand frozen for half a second, staring at the brutality of what they've just walked into. Inside the car are 3 young bodies. 2 of them perfectly still. 1 of them barely breathing. And in that moment, before the backstory, before the investigations, before the courtroom, one thing becomes painfully clear. This wasn't just a crash. This was a collision with intention. A mission carried out with terrifying precision. Her name is Mackenzie Shirilla, 17 years old. Pretty, outgoing, always smiling for pictures. But behind the snapshots and social media filters, there is something darker simmering beneath the surface. She met Dominic Russo when she was barely a teenager. He was older, charming, a protective figure she clung to. For years, they were inseparable, or maybe the more accurate word is entangled. Their love story started sweet. But like many young romances, sweetness turned into intensity, intensity into obsession, and obsession into something that felt less like love and more like possession. Friends saw it, family heard it, and Dominic himself felt it. Arguments, breakups, reunions, threats, tears, promises. The cycle repeated itself again and again. Dominic tried to distance himself, but Mackenzie had a grip that was hard to escape, emotionally, socially, psychologically. And as their relationship deteriorated, a chilling pattern appeared. When she felt him slipping away, she used fear to pull him back. It was supposed to be a fun night, a graduation party, music, drinks, laughter. Afterward, they dropped by a friend's house, just hanging out until the early hours of the morning. With them was Davion Flanagan, Dominic's friend, gentle, quiet, always helpful. A kid who didn't deserve what would happen next. By 5 a.m., they left to go home. Nothing seemed unusual, but inside Mackenzie, something was boiling. Something she'd kept hidden beneath smiles and soft words. In her phone were messages, threats, ultimatums, moments where she promised Dominic the worst version of herself. And that morning, she decided to act on it. The cameras don't lie. At 5:34 a.m., a security camera captured her Camry taking a strange, unnecessary turn off the main road into an industrial area she'd driven through before. Seconds later, another camera picks up the car. The headlights are off. The speed is climbing. 60 mph, 70 mph, 80 mph. The road ahead is a straight path, leading directly into a brick building that houses an office supply company. Then the speed spikes. 91 miles per hour, 96 miles per hour, 100 miles per hour. There is no swerving, no brake lights, no hesitation, just one final straight-line decision. And then, impact, a violent, explosive crash, metal folding in on metal, human bodies crushed under forces no one could survive. Dominic died instantly. Davion died instantly. Mackenzie lived barely. When police and EMTs pried open the wreckage, they saw what no one expected. The accelerator pedal was fully pressed. There were 0 brake marks, no attempt to slow down, no skid, no loss of control, and no mechanical issues. Inside the car, they found drugs, psilocybin mushrooms, and a digital scale. But the most disturbing piece wasn't physical. It was her pattern. Witnesses came forward saying Mackenzie used to threaten Dominic, threatened to crash the car, threatened to end everything if he ever left her. And suddenly, the crash didn't feel random anymore. It felt deliberate. Months later, after recovering in the hospital, Mackenzie Shirilla was arrested. Bodycam footage showed a teenage girl crying, panicked, confused, But investigators weren't moved. They had spent months piecing together her digital life, her messages, her behavior. What they found was chilling. A TikTok video she'd once posted with the caption, "I'm the one you die for." Statements she made to Dominic. "If you leave me, I'll crash." Friends who said she often drove recklessly when upset. To prosecutors, this was not a spontaneous accident. This was a plan, a mission, carried out at full speed. She waived a jury. It was a bench trial, only the judge. For days, the courtroom listened to crash reconstruction experts, toxicology results, digital evidence, text messages, the chilling CCTV footage, the black box showing 100% throttle and 0% brake. Her defense said she was a traumatized teen who had no memory of the crash, that she lost control, that it was a tragic accident. But the judge saw something else: consistency, calculation, intent. When the verdict was announced, the room fell silent. Guilty of murder, multiple counts, plus vehicular homicide. And then came the final blow: life in prison with parole possible after 15 years. Her driver's license revoked for life. At sentencing, the judge said words that would echo across the nation. She had a mission, and she executed it with precision. The story of Mackenzie Shirilla leaves behind a shadow that lingers long after the facts are laid bare. It forces us to confront disturbing questions. How does teenage love become this dark? What warning signs did everyone miss? How does a 17-year-old develop the resolve to turn a car into a weapon? And what pushes a person to believe that if they can't have someone, no one can? In the end, 3 families were shattered. 2 young men lost their futures, their dreams, their lives. And 1 teenage girl, now a woman behind prison bars, will forever be remembered not for who she was, but for one horrific decision made in the final minute of a long, dark night. A decision that turned love into obsession, obsession into control, and control into death. Because sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones who smile in photographs.